Good evening, everybody. It's Richard Bowser from Property Investor News. Welcome to our webinar for November. Some of you are guests on this, so you're not magazine subscribers, and I just want to run through what Property Investor News is about and what this webinar tonight is about. So, mixed use and development and financing buy-to-let purchases. So the first presentation is going to be about financing buy-to-let, and it'll be from Neil Patel from Market Financing Solutions. Property Investor News, I'm the editor. Launched the magazine getting on for 20 years ago now, back in 2002. So next year we'll be celebrating 20 years of publishing Property Investor News. We offer in-depth market analysis. It's not fluff. It's not about get rich quick. We're not chasing the shiny penny stuff. Sort of people needle in a haystack type stuff. It's a practical magazine for people who are interested long term in making money from property. 16,000 articles now in our website article. That's a huge amount of content. We've also got a lot of videos. Because of COVID, we've not done so many in the last 12 months, but we'll be doing more next year. What we do have is a very extensive webinar article archive, and that goes back now some 7 years. Right, so that's it from me. I'm not going to indulge on market content tonight. We'll be doing that in an upcoming webinar. Okay, so over to Ben Richards Jack Jiggins of XP Property, featured in the November issue of Property Investor News. Ben, I think we had you on for a webinar a couple of years ago now, but we've also joined tonight by Jack. Good evening, Jack.
Hey everyone, hey Richard.
Right, okay, so I'm going to literally leave it to you guys to go through your slides, and then of course, as always, we'll take questions at the end of the presentation. So over to you.
So thank you very much for inviting us. Yeah, I'm Ben Richards, and Jack Jiggins, my business partner, has joined us. We're from XP Property, and today we're going to be running through a case study that was in last month's magazine edition. It's a project in Reading, which I'll get more into detail of a bit later. I wanted to quickly highlight kind of who we are briefly, just to give those that don't know us a bit of background. So we joined forces about 3.5 years ago to set up XP Property. This is the size of the team now. So we've got a few project managers, some surveyors, some business assistants, operations director, and we've sort of delivered or are delivering £16 million worth of pipeline, and we've bought something every 6.8 weeks since we started back in 2018. So been a busy couple of years, but exciting, and this is one project which we've been over the moon with. So we'll get into that in a bit more detail in a minute. My background very quickly has always been in architecture, property and design. I used to work for the Berkeley Group on some large schemes in Nine Elms. I've worked for architects, I've worked for property developers, and in 2017 started my own architectural practice, and then joined forces with Jack in 2018 to start the development business.
Then a short overview of myself. Grandfather and my dad were builders, so third generation builder. I basically went to university, did business and marketing degree, went into an office, but the building site brought me out of that, couldn't leave it alone. So I went back into developing houses, but on the tools and doing every job that was under the sun to deliver a house. I decided to skill up more upstairs in the mind and work on a way that I could be delivering more than one scheme a year and not being on the tools, which has sort of brought me on my journey to finding Ben, and obviously now we're delivering multiple schemes per year. So a bit more about what we do. I would say we have quite a diverse way of looking at the market. The way Ben and I like to look at projects is understand what's available and then add the value through our own sort of experience and nous and contacts. So we've got a very broad range of arrays of deals that we've done. Some of these are some that Ben and I have done individually, prerequisites coming to each other because it stretches back to September 2016. So there's a good mix of new build, conversions, mixed use, a lot of residential buildings through there. So if you have a look through, they're all ranging in GDV sizes. Both Ben and I started off more so doing the sort of individual larger schemes, so 1 units, etc. So a lot of the flips that I did in Oxfordshire were big sort of executive homes, sort of 3, 4, 5 bed homes. And Ben's got a wealth of experience from where he worked at architecture practices and other firms before joining forces. But that was a bit of an array of our residential experience, and here is our commercial experience, which we think shows good sort of broad awareness on how to value property, how to fill property, and how to convert property also if they're commercial. So what you can see there is anything ranging from 1,400 square foot of D1 space, which we bought, put a new tenant in and just refinanced it, to all the way on the right hand side when I project managed a £7 million office refit in West London. So as Ben mentioned on one of the earlier slides, that we have bought an asset every 6.8 weeks since we set up the company. What we always say is what we lack in grey hair, we make up for in activity. So this is a bit of a slide to show you what we've been doing what we've been up to in 2020 and 2021. So all of the prerequisite slides were completed schemes, and some of these are completed now, but some of them are in our pipeline, in planning, in delivery, so on and so forth.
So there we are. We are at the end of tonight's webinar. Really enjoyed listening to that, Ben and Jack. Thank you. Really professional presentation. Really enjoyed that personally. Just hearing it a little bit more detail from that which we discussed on site. So there we are, mixed use commercial property. Thank you very much for your participation in tonight's webinar.